Hey, everybody, and welcome to Straight Jacket White Rabbit. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host. Today, we're going to be talking more about the UAP hearings in Congress this last November and implications, therefore, of. We're going to be bringing in comments that I have about the TMZ documentary, the second part with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. They've released some bombshell information that it was unaware of up until recently. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and as always, if you like my videos, like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Okay, so those of you who haven't seen my first video, I highly suggest you watch it before we get into this on the video we're going to get on today about the UAP hearings. The second UAP hearing, a lot of people said was fairly uneventful. I didn't see it that way, you guys. I saw it as yet another decent step towards disclosure. Unfortunately, I'm not thrilled why I think it's happening, and I'll get to that later. However, any of you who have not watched this documentary, it's on Tubi and I believe one or two other places you can find it. It's a TMZ documentary. Great show. I highly recommend watching both seasons of it. There's about, I think, 6 episodes total. Kind of gives you the walkthrough of the entire congressional hearings, honestly. And like I said, I tend to believe Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, and people of that ilk, people who are, I believe, truth seekers. They just want answers. They don't, they're not doing this for publicity. They're not doing this to get some kind of funding for something. They're out there generally spending their own dollars trying to work hard to uncover these answers for the general public and themselves. Okay, so the second hearing happened in November, guys, and we had Lou Elizondo and a few other people come up, and I'm not going to talk a lot about the witnesses. I'll let you guys watch that on your own and make your own decisions, because it was a lot of, this can't be disclosed here. We'll have to do it in private, things of that nature. However, you guys, there were some disturbing events that we learned about during this documentary. Jeremy Corbell has levied accusations that the military has now labeled him and George Knapp as nuclear, and that is their words, nuclear. They are not to be talked to by any member of the active military without putting that active duty military personnel's record and or job in jeopardy. That's right. They have been deemed off limits by the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, and others. So, what does this mean? Honestly, in my opinion, why would they put them off limits unless they were telling something they didn't really like? Or, quite frankly, trying to put truths out there they didn't want people to know yet. They're gag ordering these guys. They're following these guys. Like they've got tape of cars that have followed them around to go try to talk to different whistleblowers. And I mean, let's be honest. The government's going to follow you when you're going to talk to government whistleblowers, okay? But this is the United States, okay? We're supposed to be able to protect people coming forward who are trying to right a wrong. People who are trying to share public information with the public. And don't give me the national security guys, okay? This has nothing to do with national security, okay? There are parts of this I could say, national security, I understand. I'm not asking you, the government, to release the satellite footage that we have over China or Russia or other hostile countries, because obviously they would know we're spying on them. I'm not asking you to uncover anything like that, but don't treat us, the people, like we're stupid, okay? We know the truth when we see it. We know the truth when we hear it, and we can generally tell when people are lying. Now, that being said, there was a whole lot of misinformation apparently going on as far as the document that was released, the 12-page document that was released to Congress by Jeremy Corbell about Immaculate Constellation Project, the UFO project that the government put back in right after they closed the last one that we all found out about. He put in there this, and keep in mind, this is not just a project that they put into use. This is an illegal project with absolutely no congressional oversight whatsoever. They've been busted, ladies and gentlemen. The United States Department of Defense, the Pentagon, whoever's responsible, they've been busted for running an illegal operation using taxpayer dollars that has zero absolutely zero congressional oversight. And that's appalling, you guys. That's absolutely ridiculous. We knew they were doing it and they denied it for years, and now we've busted them doing it. So let's hope that Congress takes this seriously, takes this to the next level, and starts sending out subpoenas for these people to come and explain their actions to we the people. Now, moving forward. Not only have they both, George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, been followed, they've received threats. People who were speaking with them have received threats. Don't mention their name, don't talk about them. Basically, they've been blacklisted by the government. Which those of you who've watched my other videos, like I said, man, they did the same thing to Bob Lazar. They did it to him in the 90s, man, when he came forward. They did everything but, literally kill him. They did everything but kill him. They erased him. They harassed him. They've been hounding him for years. On and off FBI shows up at his work. I mean, this poor man came out to try to tell us, the people, the truth, and he was severely hounded by the government, and to this day. Now the same thing is going to start happening to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line on how much we allow our government to harass journalists and whistleblowers who are coming forward strictly with the intent and the purpose of getting knowledge that is supposed to be public to the public? We pay for this, you guys. This is our money that pays for this government. If they're doing things that involve world-changing, and I mean world-changing, ideas, world-changing discoveries, we have a right to know. Not we should know. We have a right to know. Okay? I'm very serious about rights, you guys. Now, beyond all the threatening, there's other things that really bug me about this. Turns out that the 12 pages submitted were given credit to another man instead of Jeremy Corbell, which, I mean, it's not that he's a credit hog and he wants credit, yes, but he wants the truth. Congress lied to the people during this hearing and said that this other man, who is a reporter, is the one who came forward with this documentation, which is not true. It's Jeremy Corbell, and he did it months. He has documented proof of this, guys. He has video proof of this in the documentary I told you about. Months before this hearing, he disclosed all of this to these people, and Nancy Mace, being a dishonest person that she is, not only read into record something that is untrue, but then after saying, 12-page document, they removed the final page, which had Jeremy Corbell's signature, among other information on it. They removed it. Jeremy Corbell has the original. He's already given it to people. I mean, people have already come forward and said, yeah, he's the one that brought it in. I don't know what's going on. They're trying to say, it was just a mistake, or it was a misunderstanding, or confusing. It wasn't confusing. It was a lie. And the question we all need to be asking ourselves is, why did they keep his name off of that record? There has to be a reason why they kept his name. Because there wasn't a bunch of they included most of the vital information, I'll give them that. But they still lied, and they still withheld the page with his signature and his credit to this assignment on it. Why would they do that? Now, you guys, everyone's been talking about how the government's talking more about UAPs, UFOs, and it seems like they're being slightly more honest, I'll say, than they used to be. Used to be UAPs didn't even exist. UFOs didn't exist, period. If you saw one, you were crazy. Now they're going in and saying, hey, yeah, no, UAPs exist. We don't think they're alien, but they exist. Still not a giant leap forward, but it's a leap forward, I thought. But the ending of this documentary, guys, and spoiler alert for any of you guys who don't want to know what the ending is, this is going to be a spoiler alert big time to it, so I would just tune me off for a second and watch my video once you've seen it. Okay. At the end of the third part of this, he comes out and he talks about something that's got a resonating history with me. This is not the first, second, third, fourth, ninth time I've heard this. He starts talking about reasons why the government is allowing these whistleblowers to come forward, allowing journalists like George Knapp and himself, Jeremy Corbell, to come forward and start talking about this and stuff. And they are allowing it. Make no mistake, you guys. These guys. There was a time when a lot of wet work would have stopped all of this from going down before it long ever got started. And so, any of you guys who are mistakenly thinking the government's not letting this happen, they are. But he's claiming now to have some reliable information and from multiple places that the government is telling you all this and acknowledging the truth that UAPs exist because they want you to believe a lie that they are going to tell you. This is very important, you guys. This lie has actually been propagated many times, or not propagated, I'm sorry, the lie hasn't been propagated. The fact that they're going to tell us this lie has been stated many times. And there's a few different reasons people believe they're going to tell us what they're going to tell us. And I'm just going to throw this out here right now. He says that they are going to tell us that there is a ship that was detected on its way to our planet. And that is going to be the lie that they want us to believe as the general public. Now, he quoted something that happened in the 70s, and that's all fine and good. That's kind of one of the reasons why I think it is what it is, that he's going to lead us down the rabbit hole too. You guys, there's a theory of false flag attacks, okay? A false flag is an attack perpetrated on oneself, blaming another group so that you have justification for retribution or other means that you wanted to accomplish by framing someone for an attack on you. This is a subject that worries me big time because our country has a history of false flag attacks, okay, you guys? It is not, I repeat, a new thing, okay? Many people don't know this, but after the Bay of Pigs with Cuba, okay, our own government had a proposal plan on the table to have Cuban-looking American soldiers dressed up in Cuban clothing, Cuban military gear, attack parts of Florida in order to spur a response that would allow us to go in and neutralize Fidel Castro. This is a fact. This is a documented historical public record. You can look it up. If it was on the table back then, and if you're like me and you happen to believe, and I don't want to get a lot of hate comments about this, okay, but if you're like me and you happen to believe that 9/11 was also a false flag attack on this country, and other things throughout our history, that there's just many cases, you guys, look them up. I really encourage people to do this. Our governments are not some super honest entity, okay? They are as fallible as the people we put in those positions. And those people's integrity and morals and everything else determines the corrupt level of that government agency or job that they are holding. Do your research into this, because there are people in our government who should not be in our government because they are doing things that are illegal, immoral, and quite frankly, very worrisome. Now, there are several reasons that a false flag saying a ship is on its way to Earth, it could do several things, okay? A lot of people believe one of the intentions behind this is that they're going to weaponize space. For those of you who do not know, there is a treaty right now. Nobody, not any country on this planet, is allowed to put weapons in space. There's a reason for this. We don't want to be blasting each other from space with weapons or nuclear bombs. Now, a lot of people don't believe we've all been keeping that treaty. You know, a lot of people believe we already have some weapons in space. And now I have to admit, with, America creating Space Force, it stands to reason that we might be wanting to put some weapons into space publicly. Well, how would you get approval to put weapons in space publicly from other countries? It's simple. You come up with a threat. You come up with a threat of invasion. The aliens are coming. We need to prepare. The aliens are already here, guys. The aliens are coming is a lie. The aliens are here. Okay, beings, whether you want to call them aliens or beings from another dimension or time travelers, whatever they are, UFOs, UAP are already here. There's no need for them to come anywhere. Okay, are more of them going to come? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not psychic. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you this right now. It seems an awfully good reason to get weapons into space is to go, we've detected a huge ship and it's coming for us and we have no idea of its capabilities, or we've received some kind of threatening message. These are things you guys need to be looking out for in the future. He actually gives a date, which is not the first time I've heard this date either, which is 2027, guys. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen on 2027, okay? Once again, I am not a psychic. I don't read the future. I don't know what's going to happen. And if the government watches his documentary, they very well could go, I'm not going to do it on the date he says. Everyone's going to know it's us. And they might change the date. But this rumor of this alien threat from outside being a false flag has been propagated since the 60s or 70s, you guys. It's been around a long time. And people go, well, if it's been around so long, how come they haven't done it yet? They were waiting to unlock the technology, people. They were reverse engineering. These are not reverse engineering foreign, and I mean foreign like China. Reverse engineering foreign aircraft, you guys, has before in our past taken us 10, 20 years. Okay, we can't always know what every part of a foreign aircraft does or whatever. We have to take it apart and analyze it and find out exactly what it does and how it affects other systems. This is why reverse engineering stuff takes so long. Now throw in the fact that we're reverse engineering alien craft, okay? Things we have no idea what they're for, what they do. They probably don't even look like our components to our ships, let alone act like them. Okay, so yeah, I could see it taking a long time to reverse engineer this to any real degree of being able to manufacture one. So, did we take this much time to reverse engineer all this and kind of stall the public so that we could portray a false flag attack? For the reasons of possibly putting weapons into space? I can't dismiss it as an absolute no, you guys. I can't do it. It is entirely possible. Now, on the other foot, and quite possibly, in my opinion, a slightly scarier version. I've also heard a rumor of this exact same thing since I was a kid. Only what it is going to be a full-fledged false flag attack. The attack will actually happen in this scenario. At this point, in this scenario, we would have reverse engineered the aircraft, the UFOs, to a degree well enough where you wouldn't be able to distinguish a real UFO from our UFO. And then we would put what would appear to be advanced weapons on it. When I say advanced weapons, I'm talking about rail guns, sound-based technology, laser-based technology, things that would look sci-fi to the average person, guys. Now, keep in mind, other than the Colores incident in Brazil, there's not really much record of UFOs doing any attacking on this planet. And there's a lot of records saying that they've been here for a very, very long time. So, my honest opinion is they're not going to attack anybody, okay? If they wanted to attack us, they would have already. They're either getting what they want from us, they're observing us, or they have not enacted a plan yet, which I highly doubt is coming right now. Anyways, back to the second possibility. A lot of you don't remember the Ronald Reagan speech probably, but there was a speech Reagan gave where he was talking about, please don't slaughter me on the comments if I completely screw up the quote, but it was something to the degree of, I often wonder what would happen to all of our differences and disagreements as a species, humans, if we were faced with an outside alien threat to our planet. It would be amazing how quickly all of those differences would vanish if we were being threatened from an alien species. And then he goes on to make a comment, well, aren't we already, isn't there already an alien threat? And, a lot of people took it a bunch of different ways. But here's the thing, guys. If they truly want to false flag us to the point where they want to establish a one world order, a new world order, a one world order, a one world government, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people have akined it to Star Trek, how the entire world came together. Here's the problem with that. To accomplish something like that with the human species, okay, with how divided we are as a species, it would take an attack level that would be devastating. They would have to actually attack the mass population, because if it's just something we swatted away super easily, some attack that we thwarted within 24 hours, we'd go right back to killing each other the next day. Okay, it's in human nature to be aggressive and assertive a lot of the times. And we try to grow beyond it and we try to grow above it, but it is there in everyone. Everyone has the capability of this. And you have to understand, if they're going to try to unite us by giving us a fake opponent, fake alien invasion in this case, they're going to have to do collateral damage, and it's going to have to be big. Okay, and for those of you living in the U.S., I'm sorry, but just because we're launching this false flag doesn't mean the U.S. isn't going to get the tar kicked out of it if this is the scenario. Because obviously we wouldn't want eyes on us as being the ones who perpetrated this false flag, so our country would get hit too. Now, this worries me because not only has our technology progressed so quickly since the 50s, and a lot of you know I do believe that part of that is because of reverse engineering programs. I believe we've gotten things like fiber optics and microcircuitry and other things from reverse engineering of UFOs. Those would be the easiest components to back engineer. Things that we already understand. We already understand electronic components and wiring and things like that. So the microcircuitry would have been the easiest thing for us to take off of our ship. We could have very easily figured out that technology within a decade or less. I'm a little concerned that our government is supposedly thinking about doing this again. Now, keep in mind, Jeremy Bell did not disclose his reasoning for believing this. And I don't blame him. He is a journalist. He's got to protect his sources, guys. That's what journalists do. If you burn your sources, no one else talks to you. Okay? If you burn your sources, everybody knows you're a danger to them because they know dangerous material. They're not going to disclose it to you. So I can't blame him for not disclosing everything that everyone says to him, or even, on sometimes being vague about his interactions with different whistleblowers and things he's been told by whom. And he tells everyone all the time, of course I'm sitting on a shitload of information, but I'm sitting on a lot of information because of the simple fact that I can't tell you it yet. It would put these people in danger, or it would let the government know what our next move is. He's trying to work around a legal system, guys, that has him kind of cat and mouse cornered. Him and George Knapp both. Okay, they've both said it in multiple interviews. They're kind of stuck as to where to go next because they're getting information still, even though the Department of Defense tried to stop it. They're still getting information. But now the problem is trying to get that information to another high-ranking source to get it looked at, revealed, whatever you want to call it, is going to be harder. They actually told the people in the Congressional Hearing, the Department of Defense actually told them, do not mention Jeremy Corbell. And there was one man, you guys, who had the cojones to mention Jeremy Corbell anyways. There was one man, okay, Representative U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett. I believe that's how you spell it, how you say his last name, Burchett. He's the District 2 congressman in Tennessee. I I really like this guy's style in these UAP hearings. He's very straightforward. If you haven't seen him in these hearings, go watch it. It's wonderful to listen to him speak. He's very for the people. He's very pro-transparency. And according to himself, he knows the government's full of it. Not just about this topic, but in general. Now, that being said, he's the only one who really gave Jeremy Corbell the credit he deserved during the hearing. All of them, every one of them, the last hearing, they all mentioned Corbell. This time, not George Knapp, not Jeremy Corbell was mentioned from any of them, but Representative Tim Burchett. So for that, I definitely give you an applause, sir. But how low does the Pentagon and the Department of Defense have to stinking go to have the audacity to tell a congressional hearing, members of a congressional hearing, you guys, that you can't mention these people's names? And then the only response we got, once again, was from the honest one, Tim Burchett, okay? He told people in an interview that the reason they were given for it was for security reasons. That's all they would say. So apparently for security reasons, you can't mention Jeremy Corbell or George Knapp at these hearings now. I don't believe that Tim is going to be put off by this at all. I believe he's going to continue to do it just like he has in the past, and just like he gave them the big middle finger before and went ahead and said their names. But this is our government, dude. They're telling you, you have the one part of the government who's being accused of all this stuff, the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. They're being accused of hiding all this stuff. And they're the ones telling the people investigating it, the congressional hearing, oh, you're not allowed to say those names. You can't. It's security. This is why I tell everyone to be careful about the slippery slope of declaring things under national security. I mean, national security should not and does not, you guys, cover everything. Okay, if it's national security, fine, it's national security. But you can't put everything under that umbrella and expect it to work. It just doesn't. Now, speaking of the Pentagon, this is kind of funny to me. The Pentagon's whole Arrow project was ridiculous, okay? Arrow was supposed to be on the side of the whistleblowers and the side of the people reporting these things. And when Arrow reported their findings, it was a joke. There was inaccurate data. There was missing data. There were cases that were said to have been closed that weren't closed. There were conclusions that were just, you can't even call it a bad joke. It was just ridiculous. The entire conclusion was horrible. And of course that's what happened because, it is the Pentagon, it is the US government after all. But they can only hide things for certain long, and they're letting little bits of information get out, like I said. And the only reason I can see that they're letting these little bits of information get out, well, it's not the only reason, but the biggest reason I can see is because of this false flag attack that could be coming, you guys. And I'm telling you, it's probably not going to happen on the 2027 date just because of the fact that, they put it out in the media. I doubt they're going to use that year. But I'm putting my money all on that number. Okay, there is going to be a false flag attack sometime, and I'd even venture to guess in the next 10, 12 years. And it's going to be a UFO thing. It's going to be aliens are here, a mothership's incoming, something to that degree, guys. And the reason is either going to be weaponizing space, or it is going to be to create a one world government. We all have to stick together so we can protect ourselves from the alien threat, okay? And people laugh it off when people say like that. And I know there's going to be people out there who go, Adam, you're crazy, you're nuts for believing this guy. People say that a lot. And they're wrong a lot. Okay, people say that about a lot of different people throughout history, guys. And just because you're the ones with new ideas or you believe in the fringe theories, Just because something's a fringe theory doesn't mean it's not true, guys. And there are plenty of conspiracy theories over the time of history that have come out to not be conspiracy theories. They were proven true. So keep your eyes open, keep, your ears open, and listen to what's being said in these hearings, you guys. Even non-answers are answers. You have to understand that, man. When they're asking these people directly, do we have alien bodies? Yes. Do you know where they're being kept? I can't answer that here. That's a yes. I guess I know they're being held. I can't tell you because I'll go to prison. The Pentagon is waiting for these people, these witnesses, these whistleblowers, these journalists. They're waiting for them to mess up one iota about any of these laws for national defense. And I guarantee you, the second they bend a law, let alone break one, that has anything to do with national security, they're going to prison. So Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp and people like them, you guys be safe. Watch out for yourselves. Be careful what you do. You have to keep your work in the shadows until the very big last aha, I gotcha moment. Do that. I'd rather you guys get it out there than get caught halfway through getting it out there because somebody, leaked something to you that was illegal and the government takes you down because of it. And, let's face facts, you guys. The odds of that happening there's a good chance. There are a lot of people that discuss this issue who wind up dead, okay? And I mean dead as a doornail, just done, you're over, game over, done, it's done, And people go, oh, that's coincidence. Yeah, well, a lot of them are really weird deaths and odd deaths and very convenient timed deaths right before someone's about to come out or right after someone schedules a press conference or whatever. There are a lot of people who are over the last multiple decades who have gone missing, who have had odd deaths and things of that nature just for talking about this, for going out and asking questions, you guys. This subject has gotten people killed. So no, nothing our government would do to cover this up will shock me. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they wouldn't do as far as I'm concerned. So everyone should be keeping an eye out for the next few years, just please, everyone be safe. And I me and my brother talk about survival and, end of the world type scenarios a lot. And I don't think people realize how bad things are going to get when things hit the fan. People need to get prepared. You need to have a plan. And I'll kind of leave it at that. But I appreciate all of you guys for coming by and watching my video today. I'm going to be releasing more very soon. As far as this topic goes, I will keep you guys posted, I promise. Any new developments, anything like that happens, and I will be on here ASAP making a video for you guys. As always, if you like my video, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate anyone who came over from my brother's channel. As always, you guys are amazing and wonderful. Loving the comments in there. Glad no one's arguing or fighting too much. I like that. So I'm saying a lot. Next time, I'm going to try to do a video on either a conspiracy theory or ghosts. I haven't decided yet. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to tackle as far as those types of topics go, just please drop me a line in the comments. I do read them. And I hope everyone has an awesome day. If I think of anything else, I'll be back. You guys enjoy your time. Thanks again for watching Straight Jacket White Rabbit.